What is going on, folks? My name is Spice. This is Spice Can't Fish. Today I've got another unboxing for y'all. Today's unboxing is going to be from SCHEELS. My parents were nice enough to give me a nice little gift card to SCHEELS for Christmas, so I decided to just spend out some stuff that I probably didn't need, but I figured I'd pick up anyway. Now, like I said, most of the stuff is just me stocking up for next year, so a lot of it is soft plastics that I was running a little bit low on. A couple of things in here are stuff that I wanted to try out, but a lot of the stuff here is just like normal soft plastic stuff. Got a couple of baits for a review that I'm planning on doing next year, and I also got a new swim bait, which I'm not going to show you guys. I just figured I'd let you know there is going to be a video coming pretty soon with a bunch of new swim baits that I picked up over the winter. One of those did come from SCHEELS, but I figured I'd just leave it out of this video and leave it in the other video because it kind of makes more sense for it to be in that video. But yeah, I think that's all I got to say about that, so I'm just going to get you guys set up, and we're going to get cracking into the box. Really hope you guys enjoy. Alright, folks, so got a nice big old box of stuff from SCHEELS. Like I said, most of the stuff is new stuff I haven't tried. A couple of things I'm just stocking up on or adding a few things to the arsenal. But again, most of the stuff is stuff that I've never really given a shot yet, so I'm really excited to get a lot of this stuff out on the water. And I figured you guys might want to see what I plan on throwing next year. So we got a bunch of new soft plastics, a couple new hard baits to try, and we're just going to get on into the box and see what I got. I have really bad memory about this type of stuff, so I have no idea what I actually ordered. So this is going to kind of be a surprise for both you and me. So we're just going to get on into the box and we'll see what I got. So first up, not super interesting or exciting, but we got a pack of Seeger Red Label. This is one of the best budget-friendly, affordable fluorocarbons on the market, in my opinion. I use Red Label for a lot of stuff. This is 20 pound. I'll probably use this for like heavier flipping, maybe some lighter swim bait, stuff like that. I'd probably step it up to like 25 pound and maybe throw like a Brazex, which is a little bit stronger, a little bit more expensive, but a little bit better line overall. But for most like smaller swim baits and just everyday applications, I found that Seeger Red Label works really well. It doesn't cast super well. It's not the best casting line. I've used a lot of different lines that cast a lot better than this, but if you're using like relatively heavy baits, I noticed it doesn't make that big of a difference. So I figured I'd pick some of this up. I need to put some new line on some of my swim bait spools anyway, so I figured some 20 pound Seeger Red Label would be pretty solid. And again, I know a lot of guys, especially people who throw swim baits a lot, will always throw a Brazex. They don't really throw this Red Label stuff, but personally, I haven't had any issues with it yet, so we're just going to keep using it until I start breaking off and get real frustrated and lose a bunch of baits. Like I said, most of the stuff in this box is soft plastic, so we're just going to run through the hard baits real fast. This is a Rapala Bx Big Brat. This is the bigger size of their BX Brat. I thought I just got the normal BX Brat, but I guess I got the bigger size. This color is mossy, so it's just kind of like a mossy green crawfish kind of color. Super natural. I don't have anything like it. I saw it, thought it looked really cool. It is a crawfish pattern, but it is that natural green pumpkin kind of color, so I feel like it could also do a really good job of imitating like a bluegill or any sort of bait fish like that. As long as it's going really fast by a fish's face, I don't think they're really going to notice that it's a craw pattern. I think they'll just see the color of it and really just snap at it out of reaction. Since this is the bigger size of the Brat, I think it goes a little bit deeper. I think the normal ones go down to 5 feet. This one goes down to 6, so a little bit deeper, a little bit bigger crankbait, but should get a little bit bigger bites, hopefully. I've used the original BX Brat a little bit, the smaller size. I haven't used this big size yet, so we're just going to have to put this thing to the test and see if that bigger size actually equals a bigger bite. Next up, I got a Z-Man chatterbait. This is actually the micro size. This is an 1/8 of an ounce, so super tiny. I just picked this up. I feel like it'd be kind of fun to do like maybe a challenge video on this or something. It's a really tiny, compact profile, so I think it should work really well for tiny ponds. So let me know if you guys want to see a challenge video on this at some point in the future. I feel like that would be super fun. I have done a micro chatterbait challenge video in the past, which I'll leave linked down in the description if you guys want to go check that out. Super fun video. I caught a few fish on it, and I feel like this one will probably do the same thing. Just a little bit of a different profile. The one that I used in the last video was more of just like a small minnow. It didn't have the skirt, whereas this one is actually like a chatterbait. So we'll have to see if this gets maybe a little bit of a bigger bite than the other micro chatterbait, or maybe it'll just be the same. I'm not really sure, but yeah, let me know if you guys want to see a challenge video with that in the comment section down below. This one's just in the blue-black color, so just a perfect little black and blue. Should be really good for smaller ponds. Again, I feel like those get a little bit more stained than bigger bodies of water tend to, especially in the spring and summer, so I feel like that'd be a little bit of a better option for throwing around some smaller ponds if you're looking for a moving bite. This is just in the black and blue color, so perfect little micro fishing bait for smaller ponds. I feel like small ponds get a little bit dingier, a little bit dirtier, especially in the spring and summer, than bigger bodies of water do, so I feel like that would be a perfect little micro moving bait to throw around in some of those dirtier ponds. And the last couple of hard baits that I got were a couple of Finesse Jigs from 6th Sense. We got one of their, I think it's Green Pumpkin Legend. Yeah, Green Pumpkin Legend Finesse Jigs, and then we also got one in the River Craw color. So the River Craw is kind of like a black and blue with a little bit of brown in it to make it look a little bit more natural, and that Green Pumpkin Legend is pretty much just all green pumpkin. Has a little bit of like a lighter brown with some black and blue flake in it as well, but mostly just a green pumpkin jig. These are both 5/16 ounce jigs, so just a little bit heavier than a 1/4 ounce. Perfect size for a finesse jig, especially if you're fishing smaller ponds like I do a lot. They're hand-tied skirts, which I really like, and they also have a really good weed guard, really sharp hook, and a really good hook keeper or bait keeper on it as well. All those 6-ounce jigs have the screw lock bait keeper on them, so you don't really go through a ton of plastics while you're using them, unless they're like pulling the claws off of your craws or something like that. You don't really have to switch up to a different plastic. So I figured I'd pick these up. I've had some pretty solid success on the couple of 6-ounce jigs that I've thrown so far, and I figured a finesse jig is pretty much right up my alley. It's the one jig that I throw above all other jigs besides like a chatterbait. So yeah, I figured this would be perfect to add to the arsenal. So we're gonna have to see how these do in the spring. I'm really excited to try these out. I've heard a lot of great things about 6th products. I haven't tried as many as I'd like to have tried, just a few of their hard baits here and there, but I'm really excited to really flesh out their jigs this coming year and see what they can do. Alright, getting into the soft baits, I also have a couple of soft plastics from 6th. Just picked up a couple other packs of their clouts. These are their just Senko style baits. They're 5.4 inches. Got a pack of the green pumpkin blue color and then a pack of the green pumpkin burst color. Just a couple extra packs of some colors that I didn't have. I'm planning on doing a review of the 6th clouds at some point over this next coming year, so keep an eye out for that in the future. Usually for these review style videos, I like to get a whole bunch of different colors, so if you guys saw my Bandito bug review a couple of months ago, over the past season, I'd actually used the Googan Baits Bandito bug, a whole bunch of different colors of it, just to really flesh it out and really understand what it's good at and what it's not so good at. And then at the end of the year, I gave it an honest review, so if you guys want to see that video, I'll leave it linked down below for you guys as well. But yeah, I'm planning on doing the same kind of thing for the clout. If you guys want to see that, let me know down in the comment section. I'm more than happy to do that. I love throwing Senkos, so I'm sure that we'll be able to get some good footage with them, and we'll definitely be able to try them out a whole bunch over the summer. I also picked up another pack of Senko style worms. These I've actually tried, not this specific color, but last year I tried the Exo Sticks by Biospawn a little bit. Really liked them. I thought they were pretty durable, really good action on them, so I decided to pick up another pack. This color is the candy grass color, so it's just like a bright green with like some green and purple flake in it. Super interesting color. I didn't think it was going to be this bright green when I saw it online, but it looks really cool. I'm sure it'll still get bit in some clean water. Again, these things have great action, really durable. They're really easy to size down. Also, if you want to use a smaller presentation, you can just cut them off between like each notch, and it's really easy to get the same exact length over and over again if you're really particular about that kind of thing. Usually I just find myself using the full size, so this is like a 5.5 inch or 5.25 inch, something like that. Usually I feel like that's the perfect size for a Senko, like that 5.5 inch range. So I don't usually find myself cutting them down at all, but if you want to do that, you definitely can. And again, I throw these primarily on a weightless Texas rig, just like most of the other Senko style baits that I throw. You can throw them on a wacky rig or like a shaky head or something like that. It would probably also work really well on a Nico rig. I just personally use finesse worms for those applications as opposed to a stick bait most of the time. I also picked up another pack of drop shot baits. This is the KVD Strike King half shell, or the drop shot half shell. This is the edge color, so it's just kind of like a green pumpkin or watermelon red flake on top, but just kind of like a bright blue on the bottom. I feel like this would do a really good job imitating like any sort of bait fish. Any sort of minnow, especially like a bluegill would look really, really similar to this. I really like a drop shot both in the winter as well as the summer. You can catch them on it all year round, but I really think that it shines in the winter and the summer. These fish just really don't like to move those times of the year, whether they're way too cold or way too hot. They're just really uncomfortable and don't like to move around a lot. So they just kind of shut down, but you can get them to eat finesse baits pretty well, especially around here. So I usually switch over to like a drop shot or a Ned rig, either really early in the year or right in the middle of the year when it's super hot out. Like I said, I've never tried these before, but I'm really excited to get them out on the water and see what they can do. This looks like a really interesting color. Again, should be really good imitating like a bluegill or something, and I definitely think these fish around here will eat this really well. Also from Strike King, I picked up another pack of punching baits. These are the Rage Punch Bugs. I've seen these for a while, just never really pulled the trigger on them. They look super interesting. As the name would suggest, they're primarily designed for punching. I also think that they do really well as like a jig trailer, like a finesse jig trailer or something like that, but I'll probably just end up using them for punching like they're supposed to be used. used. This is the summer craw color, so it's like a green pumpkin on one side and then like a more of a chartreuse on the other side. I am running pretty low on punch baits, so I figured I'd pick up one of these, and I think there's also another 1 or 2 packs of punch baits somewhere in the box, so we'll get to those in a minute. But I really wanted to try these out. Again, like I said, I've been seeing these for a while. Never really heard all that much about them, so I figured I'd pick them up and see what they can do. They have very similar claws on them to the Rage Craw. They're just kind of downsized. They're a little bit more finessey, don't have as much action, but should still put off a good amount of action. And they have like a really streamlined cylindrical body, so that should punch through cover really well and should be a really solid punching bait. Punching is one of those techniques that I really want to learn how to do a lot better. I started to experiment with it a little bit more this past fall and summer, but never really got on a great punching bite. There were a couple of days where I thought that I maybe figured it out a little bit, but I really think I might have just gotten lucky. But it's definitely something that I want to do some more of this coming spring and summer, so we're going to have to try these out and see if we can get on a few more punching fish. The other pack of punching baits that I picked up were actually these. These are the Cream Lures 4-inch Beaver. This is the Tattoo U color, so it's just kind of like a watermelon with some black and gold flake in it. Super interesting color. If you guys don't know about Cream Baits, they're actually one of the oldest soft plastic companies around. I think they were responsible for making the first ever soft plastic worm, so if that gives you any idea as to how long this company's been around, it's been a long time. I think these Beaver Baits specifically are a little bit newer, unless Cream was the one who patented and designed that little flange right there, but they have those little kicking flanges that you see on pretty much every craw these days. Should give it a decent amount of action. The rest of the bait is just kind of like your average beaver style bait, just kind of has that flat oval kind of body and those 2 little paddles on the side, but I think that should be a really solid little punching bait. These only come in a 4-pack for some reason, so not the best value, but I figured I'd try them out. I have used a few Cream Lures in the past, and I do really like them, and it's just kind of cool to use such an old classic company. But yeah, not much else to say about these, just the other pack of punching baits that I picked up should be kind of cool. Now these are more of like a craw style bait. You could also use them for punching, but I'll probably just use them as like a jig trailer or a craw. These are the Z Craw Junior by Zoom. I have a pack of the regular size Z Craws, don't have a pack of the smaller size, so I figured I'd pick one up just to have one of each. This is in the Huckleberry color. Very interesting color. It's kind of just like a almost a plum on one side and then like a green pumpkin on the other with some red flake in it. Looks really interesting, should do really well just imitating any of those off-colored craws. To my knowledge, I don't know of any craws that naturally come with purple in them, but I have had some really good success on purple lures in the past, so I figured I'd pick up some little jig trailers with some purple in them. They look really interesting, and again, I've heard a lot of things about these Z Craws, just haven't really gotten a chance to try them and just picked up my first pack of them recently. So we'll have to give them another shot in the spring and summer, but I feel like these should do really well. Next up, we got a pack of these. These are the Lake Fork Trophy Lures Ring Fries. This is a 4-inch little bait. I guess they're kind of like Senko's finesse worms. They're just like a worm, essentially. Again, they're 4 inches, so they're a little bit smaller than your average size Senko, but they are a little bit thicker and they have a bunch of salt in them, so they have some decent weight, so they should work pretty well on like a weightless Texas rig. You can also use them on a wacky rig, a Nico rig, like a shaky head. You could probably Ned rig them too if you had like a bigger Ned rig or cut them down a little bit. I just personally don't throw a Senko style bait all that much for like a wacky rig or a Nico rig or anything like that. I usually just use a finesse worm for that. Personally, I just don't like to use a Senko for that. I feel like they get tore up a little bit easier and fall off your hook a little bit more than a finesse worm tends to. So I'll probably just use these on a weightless Texas rig, just like I said. Maybe on a wacky rig, but probably just on a weightless Texas rig. This color is Carolina Pumpkin Chartreuse, so it's a green pumpkin on top and then like a chartreuse on the bottom. Really great looking color. I feel like this will probably work really well, especially in the post spawn. For whatever reason, those post spawn fish really seem to like that chartreuse color. That's when I get most of my bites on chartreuse. I'll get them a little bit in the spawn as well, but most of the time they'll start eating that chartreuse really well in the post spawn. These ones, like I said, are 4 inches, so they'd probably be a little bit better suited to smaller ponds as opposed to larger bodies of water, but I know people catch them on big bodies of water on this thing all the time and catch them really well. Lake Fork guy used to fish these. He used to be sponsored by Lake Fork Trophy Lures, which is partly where he got his name from. Your Lake Fork guide also fished these for a little bit. Ben Milliken used to fish these a lot back in the day. I just personally haven't gotten a chance to try them yet, but I figured I'd pick some up because they obviously work super well, and I've always been kind of interested in them, so figured why not. And the last 2 baits in here I got are kind of like fluke style baits. This one is actually called the Yoda Worm. This is a 10,000 fish bait. You guys have probably seen this all over Instagram and YouTube and whatnot. I've seen a lot about these. I haven't tried them all that much. They look super interesting. Even though they're called the Yoda Worm, I personally think they look a little bit more like a fluke. So that's probably what I'll be using them for, either like a chatterbait trailer or like a fluke fishing weightless or on like a super light Texas rig or something like that. But it should be super good, imitating like a little bluegill. This is the Texas Craw color. Yeah, Texas Craw, so kind of like a green pumpkin with red flake on top, and then like a bright orange on the bottom. Super cool color. Again, should be really good imitation of like a bluegill or any sort of crawfish as well. You can probably fish these on like a shaky head Texas rig, something like that, but again, I really see them shining as like a fluke style bait. They have that really wide body, so they should be relatively resilient. The plastic also seems pretty soft on them, so they should have some good action too. And those ribs and stuff all along the body are going to definitely put off some more vibration and stuff as you pop it through the water like a fluke or a Senko. So that's definitely where I'm going to see this thing shining. And the last bait in here is, again, another pack of flukes. These are the Googan Baits Dart in the natural color. This is the 5-inch size. They really didn't have a ton of flukes in stock at SCHEELS. They had the caffeine sheds, but they only had a couple of colors of them, and I didn't really like any of them. They had a few of the super flukes, but kind of the same thing. They had a lot of bait fish, like white colors, and not a lot of like good bluegill imitators. These darts look pretty cool, so I figured I'd pick up a pack and give them a shot. Again, I just needed some more flukes. I'm running a little bit low on those, so figured I'd pick up a couple extra packs of some more natural bluegill style flukes. I have a few packs of white ones, but I think I'm down to like my last pack and a half or so of my like bluegill bait fish color ones, so I figured I'd pick up a couple more packs, which is why we got those two. These darts are kind of cool though. The tail on them is actually vertical as opposed to horizontal along the top of the bait. So it's actually more like what an actual bait fish's tail looks like, as opposed to a normal fluke, which has the tails that are horizontal as compared to the rest of the bait, which I guess technically looks more like a dolphin or like a whale or something like that, as opposed to an actual fish. I don't really think it makes that much of a difference, but it's kind of a cool little design tweak or something, and they look like they almost have a little bit of a paddle or something on them too, maybe. Overall though, look like a pretty solid little bait, so we're definitely gonna have to try these out at some point in the spring and see what they can do. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for today's unboxing, folks. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button down below, and also hit that subscribe button if you want to see some more content from me. You can go check those couple of videos that I suggested out down below, and leave me a comment if you want to see any specific videos on any of the stuff that I got in this package. But other than that, I think it's going to do it. Check and recommend. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.